Hey guys, welcome back to Rossoneri TV. I'm Joe and I'm with Adamo and Roma fan. You guys might remember him from last year, actually from match reviews and so forth. Well, he's back to give his insight on this match. And as you can hear, Adamo's dog in the background. But anyways, let's get to the facts, guys. Milan win this one. Surprising to see Milan win this game. I really wasn't expecting. As I mentioned in the match preview, I was actually expecting 2-3 goals from Roma. So I was expecting Milan to out and too much because I've seen the past few games with Inez, Milan just can't seem to generate any attacking options. And today, they kind of proved us wrong. We saw Onda, a player that really didn't do much in the past few weeks or even months, I might say. Today, put 2 assists on the table, and it kind of suggests that he still has something to offer to this team. But the real debate is, will he be able to keep it up, or is it something that he has one of those good games and then he goes on a cold streak for 9-10 games, like we have seen so many times this season. So that is the real problem with Honda. But today he did very well, much like the entire team. Really, the goal that was scored by Roma, you can't give any fault to Milan, but rather to Tagliavinto making up a quite non-existent call, in my opinion. But anyways, that was the end of it. Very soft, exactly. But at the end of the day, Milan got the win. I think it was deserved. Roma had some good chances, but I don't think they were quite menacing enough to get a result. Nick, maybe you can fill us in for this matchup. What did you make out of Roma in this match? Really, why weren't they able to get a result against Milan?
Well, it's simple. It's just when a team doesn't capitalize, they get punished, and that's what happened in this match. Overall, Roma were playing a bit decent in the first, I would say, 10-20 minutes. They were putting a lot of pressure on Milan. Diego Lopez once again saving them on that free kick, and I mean, there's a lot of things, a lot of problems that's been happening with Roma this season, not this season, since 2015, and the problem is that they can't capitalize in front of the net. For some reason, they choke, and that's what happened when you don't take advantage of scoring goals. You get punished in the end, and that's what Milan did. Milan took no worry to take the ball, bring the ball in the net, and they scored. And Roma, it's no coincidence. Roma had 15 shots with 3 shots on target. It's not normal.
Yeah.
It's not normal. There's a huge problem, and I'm looking at the possession right now. Roma 55 possession while Milan have 45. Granted, it looked even more or less. I didn't really see Roma with the ball, but pretty much, I'd say pretty much ever since the Gervinho came out during his hamstring, that's when everything got from bad to worse, especially with Lilich going on. What a useless player. He's such a useless player. Anyways.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, I kind of mentioned this in the preview, and maybe Nick, you could agree on this fact. For me, okay, of course, Roma has been doing quite well this season. They've been getting the results, as you mentioned, since 2015. For some reason, the whole season has really turned upside down for them, getting lots and lots of ties, not being able to win games anymore. And, while they're still scoring goals and stuff, I always find the weakness of Roma is actually in their defense for some reason. I don't know why, but I always find, like, even when they were winning games sometimes, like, if it wasn't for DeSantis really saving them this season, which, by the way, I saw lots of Roma games this season, and I really saw DeSantis winning them games. Not just saving their ass, but actually winning them games this season.
I agree to a certain extent, but it's more like Manolas is the center of Roma's backline, and despite Florenzi doing very well as a right back, Roma's fullbacks and center backs have been very terrible, except for Manolas, and it shows that Roma are really missing Costander.
Yeah, but once again, you could agree with me that the defensive problems are there for Roma. To see that Florenzi has to play as a fullback, really, that pretty much sums it up.
And the saddest part is that Roma are considered one of the best defensive lines in Serie A.
Yeah, for sure.
Second best defense, but I call bullshit on that. It's just Terrible. Roma, I don't know what the
Sometimes,
hell's going on.
sometimes I find the game is not only about numbers, but also about what you see on the pitch,
Yeah,
like we've seen today. I think. Anyways, on to you now. As I mentioned before, an unexpected win really for Milan. I know that many people were actually kind of bashing you for saying that Tuchel should have started over Honda, and instead, you kind of we got a special guest that wants to come on Rossoneri TV, as you can hear in the background. But anyways,
she's
as I
celebrating the
said,
Milan.
yeah, I guess. As I said, people were bashing you because Suso wasn't in this match, and you wanted to start. Can you kind of elaborate a kind of perspective how you want the youth to be playing in these matches rather than seeing the usual players that have been playing all season long that pretty much really woke up in this match when they had the whole season to do it. And really, yeah, just talk a bit about the youth and how you would like maybe to see it from now on until the end of the season.
I mean, as you can tell, my dog's a bit too excited for these 3 points for Milan, which is pretty odd, but because they mean nothing in the season. And that's the whole point of what I say with playing the youth, because really, okay, it's okay to play Honda. Let's say it's good to beat Roma, but really, before this fixture, did you really think not being able to beat all these mid-table teams all of a sudden we're going to beat Roma? No. So either way, I was expecting a loss, so I'd rather lose with playing players like Mastali and Dimo Felta and Piccinocchi, and instead of just playing Honda, even Suso, he's much younger than Honda, and there she goes again, just way too excited for the win.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
not only is Suso younger, and that's another reason why I wanted to play him, because there you go again. His value would have risen, and he would have gotten his feet wet even more in Serie A. But he's been playing better than Honda. You can't tell me that people all of a sudden predicted, oh, this is the game where Honda's going to shine. It's been like 10 weeks since he performed, and this is where he's going to be good. No, that's unrealistic. That's just predicting stuff and hoping for the best. So I'd rather play the youth and lose than play our best players and win, because, okay, winning gives us a morale boost and all that, but the morale boost is going to be gone once Inzaghi gets sacked and it's in the middle of summer when we have all new players.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as you mentioned there, see, I'm not here to bash Honda or anything, but as I said before at the beginning, it's one of those games that really, I don't think any Milan fan was really expecting Milan to win today. I'm pretty sure almost all the Roma fans were expecting Roma to win today, mainly because really it was two stories, like two different stories this season. One, which there's a team that's been competing all season round to earn that Champions League spot, and at a given time, even for the Scudetto, and another team where it was really a season faced by problems, uncertainties, talking points, and so much drama. Really, that's what characterized Milan all season round. So, you got a team where they're still fighting for what they want this season, and another team where their season's pretty much done, and their head is somewhere else. Their head is in their summer vacations right now. They just can't wait to finish these games and go party, go to Ibiza, go to Ultra Miami, if you know what I'm saying. But all in all, what I'm trying to say is that, it's really two teams that really you can't even compare them when it comes to success this year, and yet we saw a real outcome that we weren't expecting. So, it's not about bashing individual players, but it's just talking about really trying to feature players that didn't get much playing time this season, players that still have something to prove. And I'm not just saying that, okay, every player that played today in the starting 11, they had all season to prove themselves, but why not give others a chance this season? And I know against Roma, people might say, okay, it's Roma, we have to field our best 11, at least to avoid embarrassments and so forth. But Inzaghi, even at 2-0, because Roma's goal, I believe, came at 20 minutes left in the game, even at 2-0, he could have brought in some youth even in the 60s minutes. So, he still had the opportunity to bring them in. Some people might agree, some people might not agree. So leave in the comments section, guys, what you think about that. Now, speaking a bit about, once again, Milan, Adamo, what do you make out of them in these next few games? You kind of mentioned something there with the motivation and really the morale and everything. And I always think that Milan, it's always a story of when they start their season. What I mean by that is when they start their season, they're always going to go full out. They're always going to play like the best team you see in the Serie A. And it really starts from there. And if they could actually build up on that, then they might have a good season or they might not. And that is exactly what we saw this season. But in these next few games, do you at least expect Inzaghi to change things and play some youth, or you expect the same thing that we saw today against Roma?
Well, I mean, at this point, we can only really hope. I really hope that players like Modic and Di Moffetta get minutes that they deserve, because if you look at our Primavera, they're very impressive. They're players that should be breaking through the side no problem, because this side is very weak on its own, whether it be from morale problems or they're just not good enough. But with that being said, again, that's my point. It's not like playing 2 or 3 youth players is going to make the difference between winning and losing. And even if it did make the difference, that difference is irrelevant because, you know, I'd rather, it's like you mentioned before, there's players who deserve to get their chance to prove themselves and players that have had all season to prove themselves. Not singling out Honda, just saying in general. Like let's say, for example, Modic. I'd rather play him and then, you know, you can evaluate him, see how he plays, and then for next season, you know if he can really handle the Serie A or at least against some mid-table teams or what have you. So I think overall it's much more worth it to play the youth, really evaluate them, see how they play, see if they're really if they really have what it takes to play in the Serie A. Because if not, you just leave them with the Primavera. You know, you gave them their shot and that's it. But it's been a whole season of just trash and they haven't had one chance.
Yeah, that's true. Like, I guess they could play them now and also maybe make them feature in the preseason. You know, it was nice to give them some playing time to see if they're actually made for the senior team or not. Now, some final words, Nick. Let's speak a bit about Roma because, of course, us at Rossoneri TV, we obviously want Roma to make it to the Champions League, hopefully by direct qualification. But worst comes to worst, they're gonna have to earn their qualification, maybe playing in that playoff round of the Champions League if they end third. But really, as you mentioned before, 2015 has been a very devastating year for Roma, which I still don't understand. Do you think there's a solution to this problem? Do you think Roma still has what it takes to salvage that second place in the season or not?
In my honest opinion, if Rudy Garcia doesn't leave this club, I don't see Roma making it to Champions League. They could still, technically speaking, you could still see them making it, but they still have to face Udinese, they have to face Lazio in week 37, and their final match is against Palermo. That's going to be a big one.
That's probably going to be the decider, guaranteed.
Yeah, that's going to be the decider. And seeing the way Roma played against Milan, no offense to Milan, it's obviously expected that Roma were supposed to go in this match and win because Roma is, like you just said before, Roma is fighting for a spot while Milan are pretty much done. Most of them are pretty much on vacation, and it's a big disappointment that Roma did not take advantage of those
situation, guaranteed
of the situation, and I believe like it's the formation is not working at Roma, and yet Rudy Garcia is so determined to stick on that formation, and he knows that it's not working, but yet he's such a hard head and wants the formation to work so badly, which that's the main reason why Roma have been failing in 2015. He hasn't changed. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
What I think is that teams really have adapted to Roma's play style, and they actually understood exactly what they're made of. I mean, last year when they went on that 10-0 run there at the start of the season, no one was really expecting them to do that, right?
No, sure.
And they had a good season, so forth, but they always stick to that game plan. But teams have been adapting to that game plan, and you know you always have to have a plan B. And I think once again, just like Milan, Roma does have a plan B. Unfortunate to say, but if they actually want to go far or actually challenge Scudetto maybe next season, which by any means I really think they could once again, they really have to have a plan B, and I think that's what they're lacking.
Yep, that's what they're lacking, and mainly in the defense as well, especially the fullbacks, I would say, because the center backs were not bad, except for Astori and maybe Mapu is okay, okay standards. I mean, with Kashtan and Manolas, I don't see why Roma would be conceding goals with these two if whenever Kashtan gets back from injury. But instead of that, Roma really needs to change in the back mainly and a bit in the front, especially a striker.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And just for some final thoughts, guys, on this game. Really, as I said, unexpected win. I'm happy for the win, of course. We just broke a 5-game winless streak, including 3 losses in a row, guys. So obviously, I'm happy that we were finally getting a win and kind of moving away from Cavo and Empoli. It's sad to say, but that's the real truth. So. Obviously, next week, Milan will be playing against Sassuolo, another team that we actually had problems against this season. It's funny, but that's the real truth. And we'll see if next week if we can actually pull a win against them. And one more thing I wanted to say: this game, I think, coming from the players and everything, who gave it their all and really proved some Milan fans wrong. That including ourselves, that this team has been trying to fight all season. Obviously, we had lots and lots and lots of negative moments. Really, very hard to dig out any positive moments. But this win was just a win for the fans. I think the fans deserve it after really suffering all season round for months and months. I think it's deserved for the fans to actually get a win against a worthy club like Roma in the Serie A. Thank you, Nick, and thank you, Adamo, for joining me, and thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to Rossoneri TV to stay updated with everything AC Milan, from match previews, reviews, reactions, discussions, and much, much more. Breaking news as well, so make sure to subscribe to Rossoneri TV. Don't forget to check out the Berlusconi video and have a laugh. And, of course, follow these gentlemen on Twitter at Adamo Ritaco and at Nick Kritz. Thank you for watching. This has been Gio signing off, and as usual, Forza Milan.